Good morning, day 23 on the Palmetto Trail. I am leaving Mill Creek Park area. We stayed here, only Mom and I and another lady way far away stayed in this whole beautiful campground, and we plugged in and it was only $20, and it's a county park, so it is very reasonable. This morning around 4:30 we were greeted with an unexpected, massively severe thunderstorm. Like, we thought bombs were dropping. It was so loud and bright and explosive. I've never been in a thunderstorm like the one we experienced here. Wow, we were praying hard that no trees would fall on us. We wouldn't get struck by lightning. It was pretty incredible. You can tell by the road that we had rain. I guess I didn't tell you that I am now starting the Lake Marion passage, which is just under 37 miles, so it's going to take me more than one day to complete that passage. Yeah, really pretty. The rain freshens the air for sure. Okay, into the woods I go. I'm having to contend with nasty flies again. I don't know if they're horse flies or what. They're very pesky. I suspect I'm going to get wet on this trail. In our last talk, Ruth proposed to Boaz, a relative and kinsman redeemer, per her mother-in-law's suggestion. Boaz was delighted with the proposal, but he said that there was a relative closer than he that would have first dibs on her. But he got on the matter without delay. So Boaz went and sat by the city gate, and wouldn't you know it, his close relative passed by. So he snagged him and said, "Hey friend, come here and sit down." So he did, and Boaz then went and got the 7 elders from the city, and they sat down too, and they had a little session together. If you will recall, the gate was always the center for business and legal activities in the town. It functioned as the town hall, and apparently 10 men were needed for a quorum. Oh, I have to take a detour. What are these beautiful flowers? Like a mallow or something? I told you I was on the Lake Marion passage. Then Boaz told his relative, we don't know his name, that Naomi was back and that she had sold her husband Elimelech's piece of land, but this relative, could buy it back if he wanted. Oh, nice. It's very wavy though. Grateful for it. Man, this is really thick in here. Wow. Well, this guy jumped at the business opportunity and said, "Yes, I will buy it." But then Boaz told him the other half of this deal, that he would have to marry Ruth as well, and any children that they would have together would not be his, but would belong to her deceased husband, so that his line could be carried on. Well, that changed the man's mind. He didn't want to marry Ruth, and he took his sandal off. This act symbolizes the transfer of goods or rights from one person to another. Naomi's relative gave his sandal to Boaz, relinquishing his obligation to redeem the land and marry Ruth. Oh, these are so gorgeous. The 10 elders said, "We are witnesses," and then they blessed Boaz and Ruth. "May your house prosper like it did for Rachel and Leah." So Boaz happily married Ruth, and she conceived and bore a son, whom they named Obed. Obed means servant and is an abbreviation for a servant of the Lord. And Obed fathered Jesse, who was the father of David, the greatest Israelite king that ever lived. It's interesting, though, that in the end, although Obed was born through a Levirate marriage, his genealogy is traced through Boaz, rather than from Ruth's first husband, Mahlon. So even though Boaz was considered a Hebrew, his mother was Rahab, a foreigner, and he married Ruth, also a foreigner. And it was through this line that Jesus was born. Had the Jewish nation appreciated the lesson from the book of Ruth, that God is no respecter of persons, their attitude toward the Gentiles would have been vastly different. They would have been looking for a Messiah to save all people from sin, whether Jews or Gentiles, and not merely a Jewish Messiah to save the Jewish nation from bondage to Rome. There is a lesson for us in the book of Ruth. If we will practice love and sympathy toward our fellow men, many of them will say to us, "Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." Let's put our trust in God, under whose wings we can have our security. Well, that was a 4-mile hike, and now I've got about a 2-mile bike ride. Oh, it's nice to get away from those horseflies. But it looks like it's gonna rain again. Anyways, I'm so glad I can be on the bike thanks to my mother. Oh, look at this boat landing at Sparkleberry Landing. This is gorgeous. Sitting in the truck right now, waiting out this storm. It's supposed to last another hour, and there's a tornado watch. So at least I got the walk part done in good time. God is looking after me. Okay, so we threw in the towel and came back to camp. At least I covered 6 miles today of the trail.